complete and utter poop sticks. Unfortunately, yes, the glasses are going to have to stay on because I gotta see my screen because I was lazy this week and didn't feel like putting together an actual episode, so we're doing Google Autofill again. Yay! Okay, this week is asking the question, is Fullmetal Alchemist, letter A, is Fullmetal Alchemist appropriate? Its TV rating is Y14, which means that it's been deemed generally appropriate for older teens and upwards. So the question is really appropriate for who? Like young children? No. But I was watching it on Adult Swim when I was like 14, and I was a wuss back then. So, and I was fine. So, appropriate for who? Yeah, okay. Is Fullmetal Alchemist shonen? Yes. Fullmetal Alchemist and Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood are considered shonen style animation. Do not ask me what that means because I know, but it's complicated and I don't feel like explaining it right now. So moving on. Is Fullmetal Alchemist and Brotherhood the same? Nope. Different plot lines. There's most of the same characters, but they do have characters that are different. The characters that are the same have different backstories. It's different. Very different. Is Fullmetal Alchemist anti-Christian? There's a lot of just overall anti-religion themes in general. I mean, the perfect example would be Lior. I wouldn't say that is specifically anti any specific religion. It doesn't have a very favorable outlook on religion in general, as do most anime don't have a very favorable outlook on religion in general, but it's not so there's no such thing as God in your face atheist that it would be off-putting to someone who is religious. Obviously, it's my favorite anime and I'm a Christian, so you'll be fine. Letter B. Is Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood good? Obviously, in my opinion, the answer is resounding yes, absolutely. But really that answer is different for everybody because everybody has different tastes in anime. So I would suggest going and watching it for yourself because you might watch it and decide that's complete and utter poop sticks. So go watch it for yourself to answer that question. As Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood over? Yes. Yes, the series ended in 2012. I really don't want to talk about it, but yes, the series is over, but I personally believe that in the hearts and minds of all Fullmetal Alchemist fans, including myself, that the story lives on, and therefore it will never, ever truly be over. That's some bullshit right there. Okay, is Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood on Hulu? Yes, I don't use Hulu. I know it's on there. I don't know how much of it, if all of it's on there. So I don't know. Yes, but I don't know how much. Is that good enough? Oh, yeah, that's good enough. Letter C. Is Fullmetal Alchemist canon? There's two sets of canon. There's Fullmetal Alchemist 2003, and then there's Brotherhood. Like I said earlier, two different stories, two different sets of plot lines, different character backstories. So if you're yes and no, depending on which universe you're following, because 2003 specific things are not going to be Brotherhood canon, and Brotherhood specific things are not going to be 2003 verse canon. So, again, which universe are you following here? Is Fullmetal Alchemist complete? Yes. Both anime series and both manga, they're done. They're finished. No making no more. Is Fullmetal Alchemist Conqueror of Shambhala on Netflix? No. Why Netflix is Conqueror of Shambhala not on your service? Why? Why? Anyway, letter D. Is Fullmetal Alchemist done? Yes. Is Fullmetal Alchemist different from Brotherhood? Yes. Already said that. Is Fullmetal Alchemist dubbed? Yes. Both anime series have been English dubbed. Is Fullmetal Alchemist dark? Definitely some running themes, definitely has its moments, but I wouldn't say that it's like too dark overall. So, is it dark? Yes. Yes with its themes, yes with some of its moments, but I don't think it's like overbearing. Okay, there was nothing under E that we haven't already talked about, so moving on to letter F. Is Fullmetal Alchemist finished? Yes. Is Fullmetal Alchemist for adults? Once again, the rating is Y14. Target demographic is older teen to young adult. So, yes. Who is Fullmetal Alchemist father? In Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, father is the creator and leader of the homunculi, who is... You know what? Long story. Go watch it. This is Fullmetal Alchemist movie from Brotherhood. Which one? There are two. Conqueror of Shambhala is the conclusion of Fullmetal Alchemist 2003, and Star of Milos was meant to tie in to the Brotherhood universe. However, it had nothing to do with... Arakawa had absolutely nothing to do with Star of Milos. This is something that they made just on their own. And so it's meant to tie in to Brotherhood, so I guess kind of yes, but it's kind of like a feature-length OVA in the sense that it ties into canon, but it's technically not canon. Once again, we're skipping ahead, moving on to letter I, because there was nothing under the others that we hadn't already answered. Is Fullmetal Alchemist in English? Is Fullmetal Alchemist in English on Netflix? Is Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood in English dub? Yes to all of the above. Both anime have been fully English dubbed, and as far as being on Netflix, the first 2003 series is completely on Netflix, except for Conqueror of Shambhala. All of Brotherhood, except for the last season, is on Netflix, and Star of Milos is on Netflix. So basically, you can't watch the conclusion of anything on Netflix. Why, Netflix? Why? Why did you not have season 5 of Brotherhood? Why, Netflix? Why? Why? Letter J. Is Fullmetal Alchemist Japanese? Yeah, that's kind of a defining point of anime. Is Fullmetal Alchemist Shonen Jump? Yes. Shonen Jump, for those of you who don't know what it is, it's a manga anime magazine that gets published in the United States, and it started in 2003, and I think it's still going. But anyway, that's it. Publishes chapters of manga, and that is the first time that the Fullmetal Alchemist manga came to the United States, was in issues of Shonen Jump. Is Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood just a remake? What do you mean by just a remake? Like, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Sorry, I cannot speak today. No can speak these words well today. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, just a remake. I wouldn't call it a remake of the 2003 series because they're two separate entities. Whereas 2003 was made as it was made before the manga was even finished, so that's why it branches off, because the creators didn't know where Arakawa was going with the story, so they went their own way, and then once the manga was done, Brotherhood was made. If you call Brotherhood a remake, then you have to call every anime that's ever been a remake of its manga. So I'm gonna call no on that. Is Fullmetal Alchemist better in Japanese or English? That depends on your preference of subbed versus dubbed. Some anime fans, prefer subbed because it feels more authentic, seeing it and hearing it the way it was meant to be seen and heard, and you get a more direct translation from Japanese to English when you go with subbed versus dubbed, because with dubbed, they have to tweak things and use a little bit of artistic liberty to make the words fit the mouth movements. Otherwise it turns out terrible, and sometimes it still does. But then on the other hand, some people prefer dubbed because they don't want to have to read and watch at the same time. Like, if you're having to read on the screen what's being said and then watch on the screen what's going on, your visual attention is divided and you don't catch everything. Especially if you're like me and read super, super slow. If I wanted to read Fullmetal Alchemist, I would get the manga. I don't want to read anime, that's what a manga's for. That's why I prefer dubbed, but I understand why some people still prefer sub. So really that's a matter of opinion. It's a matter of whether or not you prefer watching subbed over watching dubbed. We're skipping ahead to letter N, which is all the questions about Netflix again. Is Fullmetal Alchemist on Netflix? The entire 2003 series is on Netflix, not Conqueror of Shambhala. The first 4 seasons of Brotherhood are on Netflix, not the last season, and Star of Malos is on Netflix. There it is. Why? Right? Where is it going to be on the screen? Right there. Why is Fullmetal Alchemist not on Netflix in its entirety? Why is Conqueror of Shambhala missing from Netflix? Why is the 5th season of Brotherhood missing from Netflix? Why Netflix? Why? Letter O. Is Fullmetal Alchemist on Netflix? Yes, but not Element. Fullmetal Alchemist over? Yes. Fullmetal Alchemist on Crunchyroll? Yes. For those of you who don't know, Crunchyroll is the Netflix of anime. The thing about Crunchyroll and the thing about Netflix is that those are both services that you have to pay for. But peoples, I am going to share with you a fun little secret of how you can watch legally, 100% legally, watch pretty much unlimited anime and read unlimited manga 100% free if you have Windows 8 or Windows 10, because it's an app for Windows that can only be downloaded on 8 or 10, and it works much better on 10, believe you me. It is called AnimeTube. So this is what it is. This is what it looks like. Okay, I thought I was in my favorite setting. Nope, I'm just on the search setting. This is what it looks like. The only downsides to it is there's like tons of ads, and they get really graphics intensive, and it makes it run slow sometimes. But hey, that's the price you pay for getting free anime. If it wasn't for the ads, then this would not be free. This has thousands of anime. Thousands of anime. Series, movies, OVA sets. It has the Fullmetal Alchemist OVA sets, the Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood OVA sets, and the Coma Theater episodes. It has literally almost any almost any anime you could possibly think of wanting to watch. The reason I slipped up and said manga is because I'm thinking of there's several different versions of this app. There's one called Anime Tree, which in my opinion is not organized as well. You still get free anime, but it doesn't have all the cool search features that Anime Tube does. But Anime Tree has a sister app called Manga Tree, which is exactly the same thing. You get to read free, unlimited manga. There's the Coma Theater episodes. They're so freaking hilarious. Anyway, yeah, so if you have Windows 8 or Windows 10, I would highly recommend downloading Anime Tube and Manga Tree. They are awesome. They are completely free, and you get to read and watch unlimited manga and anime. Hashtag not sponsored. I'm just showing you this because it's cool. Okay, letter P. What is Fullmetal Alchemist Pocket Watch? Okay, the silver pocket watch with the Leo Campus emblem on it is that's what gets given to all of the state alchemists once they get their certification, and it's basically proof that they are a state alchemist. What is Fullmetal Alchemist plot? Edward and Alphonse Elric, young brothers and alchemic prodigies, can't accept the fact that their mother is dead. So, despite numerous texts telling them that human alchemy is a big fat no-no, they do it anyway. And to make a long story short, well, that's really all the plot you need right there. Is Fullmetal Alchemist related to Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood? It's related in the sense that it has the same characters and same general themes and general concepts, but not the same as Fullmetal Alchemist Real. I believe that it's a real series. It was created by a real person. Obviously, the characters aren't real living people, but something is as real as you make it. It's very real. To me, it is real in the sense that it's inspired me to do an entire segment of this channel, which is my most popular segment. Thank you to everybody who watches. You make the channel real, and you make Fullmetal Alchemist real. Is Fullmetal Alchemist romance? It definitely has romance elements in it, Edward and Winry for instance, but I wouldn't classify it under the genre of romance. They don't even kiss at the end. When Edward's like leaving on the train, they don't even kiss. Like, why? Why don't you kiss? Why? Why did you not kiss her? Why? Why, you idiot? Why? And we get to skip ahead all the way to letter Y because there's nothing noteworthy that we haven't already talked about under anything else. Is Fullmetal Alchemist yaoi? Not outside of fanfiction. Thank you, goodbye. Well, peoples, that's it for this week. Thank you for watching. I hope this video has been informative. I hope you have learned something. I will see you next week on Full Metal Friday, or if you don't want to wait a week to see my silly face, tomorrow is the Saturday Showdown.